This is the Bob Rivers Show on 95.7 KJR.
Oh, yeah. As long as you're around, life will never bring us down. Gonna be around. Hey, hey. Oh, yeah. Forever and a day, no matter what they say, gonna be around. Hey, hey. It's been hard. Life's been a little tough now.
Ain't gonna let life bring you down. Gonna be around.
And I told myself I'll never give up, no.
Ain't gonna let life bring you down.
It was your love that pulled me through. Yes, it did.
All right, you wonder who those are? Those are the original Sons of Thunder. Where do you hear the Sons of Thunder story? The original Sons of Thunder will play live today in the Carter Subaru Live Theater. And that's in the 9 o'clock hour. They're talking about their life project. Joe and I were talking about these guys. Famous past they had, and then they disbanded, and now are they back together or just doing a reunion thing?
They're back together. They are doing a reunion. They want to make a movie, is what they want to do, to tell their story and to have a big concert. I believe one of them has some health issues now, and they would like to
make sure the story gets told.
Make sure,
so, they were teenage preacher kids, by the way. Being the son of or daughter of a preacher man, well, there's songs about that. Mm-hmm. It's probably, in some ways, an interesting life. In some ways, not an easy life. Did they sing on that Rolling Stones song, You Can't Always Get What You Want, or did they just tour with the Rolling Stones?
Well, what happened is their dad was a local preacher here in Seattle, and they got so good that word started getting out about these kids. There's 2 black kids, 2 white kids. And
4 kids.
Yeah, and they were teenagers at the time, I think 17 to 20, something like that. Well, the Stones and Stevie Wonder went out on this big tour in the early 70s, which was kind of unheard of because in the early 70s, it might be news to younger people, but there were tensions between black and white people.
There were tension between black and white.
Yeah, there still are. But this was a real kind of...
Not that I see.
Yeah, I mean...
Except if I turn on the news.
But it was a big kind of a deal that, Stevie Wonder and the Stones are out, integrated tour and everything. Well, they heard about this band that was half black kids, half white kids, and were incredible musicians. So Mick Jagger wanted to get them out on tour. But the problem was their dad, the 2 of them are brothers... It's a fundamentalist preacher, hates rock and roll. He didn't thought of that. And so they
told... The whole rock and roll genre he had a problem with.
So they told Dad that they were going on a gospel revival tour.
Oh, well, that's what you say.
Yeah. And, hallelujah, praise, go on, boy. But it turned out in the end, Dad found out after they'd been out for a while, brought him home.
Turns out he was a closet Rolling Stone Stevie Wonder fan.
took the keys
My God, have you heard about the opening band?
Took the keys from the tour van, and basically the Sons of Thunder was no more.
And by the way, great story, heartwarming, heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching, but why didn't Mick Jagger and Stevie Wonder pony up for a new van?
And you tell
how
me
did that end their dreams?
Stevie Wonder couldn't go to the dad and say, hey, Dad, how about letting us have your boys?
They are the sunshine of my life.
Yeah,
that didn't completely end their dreams because another thing they happened to be was a young comedian named Sam Kinison was looking for a musical act to be part of his show. They became Sam Kinison's first partners, kind of, and when Sam was just getting started.
Wow. So that was okay with Dad. No Rolling Stones, no Stevie Wonder, but that nice Sam Kinison kid.
Sweet man.
That guy, yeah.
But these guys have seen, they've met people and seen people, and they're local Seattle guys that have just been kind of out of the music scene for a long time.
So they're going to sing for us. Is this a modern recording of them or an older one that we just heard?
I believe what we just heard is their newest stuff.
That is new stuff?
It is new stuff. And by the way, they have an Indiegogo project. They're trying to raise money to get the movie. And so far, they only have $400 out of $50,000 that they need to get. So
That's less.
That's less.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll definitely talk to them. Sounds wonderful. It's a great local story. I think the local TV should get on this.
Yeah, this is really, really cool. And they're great musicians.
How did we find them?
They wrote us. One of the I'll give you the letter here. He said, actually, they wrote you. Somehow it came to me. But it said, Dear Bob, my name's Roger Wood. I've been raised in South Seattle, working musician all my life. Friends with some of your friends, Jaquel, Lars, he mentions a few.
Oh, yeah. You don't have to read the whole letter.
All right, well,
That's
how they
We're
found.
telling the audience how they got to it.
A nasty infection I can't cure. Before I go, I want to tell you one final wish.
Exactly.
Please don't read this on the air.
Yes, Joe, calm
Well,
down.
that is exactly
Right.
how they got to us.
Also on the show today, Richard Marks has a new CD. We'll talk with Richard Marks. He's always fun to talk to. Today is July 11th.
We're back to the Bob Rivers Show on 95.7 KJR. Powered by the Carter Subaru Live Theater.
The original Sons of Thunder were a group of youngsters. They ended up touring with megastars like Stevie Wonder and the Rolling Stones. They'll be performing for us in the Carter Subaru Live Theater this morning. Back in the 1970s, these young men from Seattle were one of the most in-demand gospel groups in the country. The story of the Sons of Thunder would make a great movie, and it turns out there currently is an Indiegogo campaign to help that movie get made. We heard from one of the Sons of Thunder, a guy named Roger Wood, and his story was so fascinating, we invited them to come in and tell us about this. We'd like to, say if this is something you're really keen on, then we should point you to Indiegogo so you could help them out. The current lineup for the Sons of Thunder: Roger Wood, David Bowman, Walter Finch, Greg Wood, and Felix Williams. Roger, you Roger, right?
Yes, sir.
Welcome to the Bob Rivers Show. How are you
Thanks,
doing?
Bob.
Hey, your story is fascinating. And we don't want to take too much time away from the music portion, but we want to tell the story. So, you guys were kids. How old when Sons of Thunder started to get really big?
Probably 15, was the average age. A couple of us was a little older, but
And your dad's a minister.
Dad was a Pentecostal minister in Rainier Beach since the 1960.
And he probably didn't cotton to too much rock and roll and Rolling Stones.
Not at all.
No, he
Not at
hated
all.
it. Okay.
He did not.
Well, hate may be a wrong word.
He was not...
Fire and brimstone comes to mind.
right, yeah. He wasn't sympathetic toward the devil at all.
Meanwhile, you're 15.
Like that.
Look at him go! Good morning, everyone.
Very nicely put. Okay, so the story, which is fascinating, it's got to be a movie. And I don't want to give too much of the movie away, but I have to give this much of it away. You guys basically broke one of those commandments and said, we're going on tour on a gospel mission, right?
Yes.
And you went with the Rolling Stones and Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, amazing, quick story. It was amazing. We lied to Dad. We had been given the offer by Dorothy Norwood, who was an established black artist out of Atlanta, Georgia at the time on Savoy Records. And so she knew it wasn't going to go over well with Pops as well, So she told us, and then we worked it out, told him, lied to him, and said that we were going on a gospel chitlin circuit in the South.
So how did he find out you were with the Rolling Stones?
Interesting story. In Fort Worth, Texas, a former secretary of the church showed up, and we got paged to come out of the back, and we're walking up the ramp, and sun's in our eyes, and I'm talking to Greg, and I go, is that who I think it is? And it's like our old previous church secretary, and she was in our home, and she was part of our family for many, many years. So she had then lived in Fort Worth. Dad we did tell him the cities that we were going to be in.
Oh,
So
she
was
went
able
to
track
see
us by
you.
the cities.
I'm going to go see that chilling revival.
I saw him at the Rolling Stones.
That was
Uh-oh.
it. It was like, what are you guys doing here?
Was he mad?
And we just told him, well, we really didn't know the full depth and the detail of what we were actually getting into. There was
You
just
didn't.
no way.
Okay.
There was no way.
Now,
We were-
was there debauchery on this tour? Did your dad have good reason to be mad?
Sure. I mean,
Yeah.
being
Oh,
an older guy, sure.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
'Cause- absolutely.
We can now tell some of the story. It'll make for a great movie, is what we're
Yes,
saying. Okay.
yes.
Now, who are these other
Breaking
folks
one
here?
sin got you on the tour. How many sins were broken on tour? 7? 8?
By which individuals?
How many
I don't wanna-
commandments?
at
We've got
least
10
7.
commandments. Name
At
how
least
many.
7. All the 10 commandments I know were broken by the cast and crew of Stevie Wonder and the Rolling Stones. A
course.
lot of the stories I learned later, of course, through reading the books, and the airplane was offered to us by Mick to fly on. Out of holy fear, we refused that one. That was very scary to be offered that. And so, and there were other stories. We found beer in our cooler in Fort Worth in the first date. Scared the mess out of us.
Because you guys, from what I understand, were good kids. You were teenagers, yet you're in these huge rock and roll shows, and they're throwing drugs on the stage for you because they think that's a sign of that you would want that.
They like you.
They gave their appreciation by throwing rolled joints and pills up. And I remember very clearly sitting on the B3 and having to flick those things off of the manuals and actually playing and watching a couple of things. I remember it very well, vividly, dropping down between the pedal board and out of sight.
So you guys got an education on this trip.
We did, and a lot of the education came afterwards, after we went over the snapshots in our head. 1 year, 2 years later, we got older as teens and began to take in.
Did you acquire some carnal knowledge on this trip by any chance?
Well, I think so, because what happened to me on a personal note, my name is Greg. I'm
Hi,
Roger's
Greg.
brother. And on a personal note, I was thrust into an environment that I only heard of, had no idea that it actually existed. It was like in a book or a fairy tale. And then when I saw all this happen, it was like, wow. And so it was like hindsight was 20/20. We talked about it afterwards. It was like, wow, do you know just what happened to us? Do you know what we were just at?
Holy cow, yeah.
Holy crap.
And you?
I'm Felix Williams.
Hi, Felix. Nice to meet you.
Lead singer on there. But, it was the same thing here, looking at folks and watching them, bouncing up and down and the crowd screaming and yelling, the lights.
How come this story hasn't had a book written about it yet?
We've been quiet for 40 years because at the separation, Dad took the van and the gear away from us. We just were so devastated. We were still under the control of the church, if you will, as young men, and so we just felt that was what was going to happen.
So did you feel your whole life like this cool opportunity was taken from you, or did you get over it and say, wow, what an interesting time, I've moved on?
Both.
Okay.
Both, because there was 4 of us, and so each of us had kind of a different measuring stick there. I've always had it in the back of my craw. I was always Dad called me CC, chronicle complainer, So, and now I know why. So, and he was.
Now, I want to make sure we have time to hear you. Joe, quick question.
I just wanted to ask, I theorized earlier, I know your band, you guys are 2 white kids, 2 black kids. The tour was Stevie Wonder and the Rolling Stones. This was the early 70s when integration and
Ebony
everything
and Ivory
was
tour, I believe. It should have been called. Yeah.
Right. Was part of the reason you guys got on the tour because of the racial makeup of the band?
It was. It was exactly why that we were chosen to be a major portion of the backup band.
This story needs to be told, folks. Indiegogo has the campaign. We'll link to it at bobrivers.com. You're just getting started. You have, $400 or so raised?
Yeah.
You want to raise some money, right?
Yeah, we're doing pretty good. We got some.
I want to hit this podcast of you talking about it and playing, put it on the internet, share it with your Facebook friends. This is an amazing Seattle music story that should be told. Guys, let's head you out to the Carter Subaru Live Theater. And in about, take your time, in about 14 seconds, we're going to ask you to start playing.
Run for it!
Run! Forrest, run!
If you can give a guy $20,000 to make potato salad, fund
Yesterday,
fund
the
this
internet
project,
gave
people.
a guy more than that. It was over $50,000 for the potato salad guy because the story went viral. What's it up to now, Pedro?
70. He'll be on Monday with us.
Yeah, he's talking to us on Monday.
Yeah.
The show, yeah.
And this is performance art. It's in itself raising money for potato salad. It's funny. The Sons of Thunder, they're called. Folks, you may be witnessing the birth of an amazing Seattle story that someday you'll see in a major cineplex as a huge movie.
And when you hear this music, you're going to say, man, I wish these guys had stayed together because they are, good.
They really are
they're
good.
Great, actually. They're not just good. They are great.
And I had never heard this story before. And it was a listener who wrote to me on the email.
That's cool.
Passed it on to Luciana. She said, wow. She said, you gotta look at this story. And Joe and I were talking about it last night, the Sons of Thunder. Before they play, just a reminder, tonight at Tulalip, Spike and the Impalers, the Bums of Thunder.
Sons of Blunder, I was going to I think yours is better.
I was thinking of a Big Bottom No Problem reference. Hey, you guys have smaller bottoms now. Come see these guys have lost a bunch of weight, and they're doing really good. See Jody, the Pugs of Thunder. See Jody perform live. See Summer Masick and Steve Fossen. Steve, the founding member of Heart in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and then Lee Oscar joining us on stage 2. We always have a party with great special guests. Tonight will be a blast. Jody's song, by the way, just so you know, Sing Along. It's a group participation song. We'll look forward to having you folks tonight at Tulalip. Now, the big thunder sounder. Here we go.
Now, live in the Carter Subaru Live Theater with 95.7 KJR.
Ladies and gentlemen, here are the Sons of Thunder.
Like a ship that's tossed and driven, yeah, battered by an angry sea. When the storms of life are raging, well, the billows, they are pressing down on me. Ooh, yeah. I wonder what I have done to make this race so hard to run. What is that? I said to myself, don't worry, no. The Lord will make a way somehow. Say a little bit of, yeah. Say it, Felix. Yeah. Oh, yeah, well, like a storm that's tossed and driven, ooh, battered by an angry sea. When the storm of life is raging, yeah, and its banners fall on me. Tell it. Well, I wonder what I have done. Oh, that makes this race so hard to run. What'd you say? Did I say to my soul, don't worry, the storm will make a way somehow. Yeah, Lord will make a way somehow. When beneath the cross I bow, He will take away your sorrow. Let Him have your burdens now. When the load is lying so heavy, my God, the weight is shown upon your brow. There's a sweet relief in knowing the Lord will make a way somehow. Say it again. Oh, yeah. The Lord will make a way somehow. Oh, yeah. When beneath the cross I bow, He will take away your sorrow. Let Him have your burden now. When the weight lies so heavy, and the weight is shown upon your brow, there's a sweet relief. There's a sweet relief. There's a sweet relief. There's a sweet relief. And you know, the Lord will make a way. Yeah, the Lord will make a way. Oh, yeah, the Lord will make a way. Yes, He will. The Lord will make a way. Yeah, there's a sweet relief in knowing the Lord will make a way somehow.
What do you think, huh? Whoa. The Sons of Thunder. That was thunderous.
Yes.
That is amazing.
Can you imagine if we'd had 40 more years of that? That was they took a 40-year break, and that's the way it sounds today.
Wow. The road might have killed a couple of them.
Always look on the bright side, buddy.
Yeah.
Good work.
So maybe it did work out okay.
Divine intervention.
Hey, guys, would you play one more song?
Yes.
Would you? Okay, here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a quick break. Jody will come back with the last word and one more, because that was so good, heaven asked for another.
All right.
Even the atheist on the text is asking for another.
That's it. The atheists want to hear more. And your dad texted in from heaven. All right, I'm sorry. I apologize.
I was wrong.
Folks, would you like to hear another? Don't go anywhere.
The Bob Rivers Show on 95.7 KJR. We're back to the Bob Rivers Show on 95.7 KJR. Powered by the Carter Subaru Live Theater.
We're back, ladies and gentlemen, for an encore. And do check the website, bobrivers.com. Listen up for Sons of Thunder. And just before you guys start, by the way, Jody's got the last word of the day.
In honor of LeBron James just announcing that he's going back home to the Cleveland Cavaliers, we'll make the last word of the day, testify.
If you want it, God's got it. God's got it. If you want it, yeah, He's got it. God's got it. If you want it, well, He's got it. God's got it. He's got it. Everything you need. He's got it. Everything you need. He's got everything you need in His head. If you want it, He's got it. God's got it. If you want it, He's got it. God's got it. If you want it, yeah, He got it. God's got it. He's got everything you need. Yes, everything you need. Yeah, yeah, everything you need in His hand. He owns all the cattle, yeah, all the cattle on 1,000 hills. Come on. Food to fill your cupboard. You know what? He's got money just to pay your bills. If you want it, hey, He's got it. God's got it. If you want it, well, He's got it. Yeah, God's got it. Hey, if you want it, oh yes, He's got it. God's got it. He's got it. Everything you need. He's got everything you need. He's got everything you need in His hand. Why ask God for an old car, a jalopy, when He also owns a new? Well, why every day eat neck bones when He owns those T-bones too? If you want it, oh, God's got it. God's got it. If you want it, I know He's got it. God's got it. If you want it, I know He's got it. You know what He's got? Everything you need. He's got everything you need. What you're looking for, everything you need. What you're looking for, everything you need. You need it. Everything you need it. Everything you need. We're looking for it. Everything you need. We're looking for it. Everything you need. Yeah, yeah. Everything you need in His
Bob Rivers in the mornings, the no repeat workday, and Seattle's greatest hits. This is 95.7 KJR FM and HD1 Seattle, an iHeart radio station, an iHeart radio station, an iHeart radio station.